What's up, my anxious friends? It is me, Anxious Bob, and today we're going to talk about two things that you can start doing today to make you start winning with anxiety. Two things starting today that are going to change that will help you start winning with anxiety. Now, so why did I not say beat anxiety disorder or end panic attacks? Well, let me explain. So I'm someone who has had multiple anxiety disorders my entire life. This goes back to when I was 3 and 4 years old, going to Mother's Day out and going to school. I would cry and throw up before school. It happened all the way through elementary school, where I would get nervous, have panic attacks, got really bad towards my senior year in high school, and really, really bad in my 20s and early 30s. You see, it wasn't until about 7 or 8 years ago that when I was in my mid-40s that I really started to change the way I thought about anxiety. I started changing some core beliefs about myself and about the disorder that I had. And it wasn't until then that I really started winning with anxiety. And I think this is important. We have to realize, many of us, that we have a disorder that there's a good chance this could stick around for our entire lives, right? To some degree. And we have to know that that doesn't mean that we can't live a fulfilled life. That doesn't mean that we can't succeed in business, that we can't succeed in our personal life, that we can't succeed in relationships, and that we can't live a happy life, because we absolutely can. And I absolutely do, but I didn't start winning with anxiety until I changed some core beliefs. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today in this video. So, number one, change the way you feel about yourself. You have to change the way you feel and see yourself. And that's not an easy thing to do. But let me help. Let me give you some perspective. You see, when you have an anxiety disorder, you look at things like going to the grocery store with fear. You're worried about getting in the elevator. You're scared to death about having to drive somewhere. You are terrified of going to class. You don't want to go to that party or that wedding that you're obligated to go to. You don't want to go to work because of your anxiety. All of these things are hard to do. And you feel little. You feel weak because you can't do them. You have symptoms going into a grocery store and you think, this is so silly. This is so pathetic. I can't believe I'm actually scared to go into a grocery store. Nobody else is. And we compare ourselves to other people, and that makes us feel little, small, and weak. But the truth of the matter is, how many people have to face their fears every single day? Every day, you may be scared to go in that grocery store. You may be terrified to go to class. You may not want to drive. You may not want to go to some sort of social event or go to work. But we do it. We have to do it. We're still here today, right? That means we've done it. We've pushed through. We face our fears every day, and that makes us pretty damn strong. That is not someone who is weak. That means we're brave. That means we're courageous. That means that we are strong. And we have to see ourselves that way. So when you go to the grocery store, you go to Walmart, or you get on that elevator and you're nervous and you're weak and you don't feel good, don't see that as a loss. Don't see that as being weak, but instead realize you did it anyway. Realize what courage it took to do that. And once you start seeing yourself as strong and courageous, it's very empowering. And your anxiety starts to lower. You start feeling stronger. And that's really important to getting on the right track, to start winning with anxiety. You have to see yourself as strong, or it's very unlikely you're going to get very far in your treatment. Number two, and this is a tough one. Now, I find a lot of humor in talking about some of my symptoms because they're so crazy. But number two, stop trying to make sense of your symptoms. Today, stop it. If you know you have an anxiety disorder, then you know you're going to have some crazy symptoms. And what we all do, what I spent years and years and years, over 20 years, close to 30 years doing, was trying to figure out why I had these symptoms. I know I have anxiety disorder. Why couldn't I just say that symptom's because I have anxiety? Nope. I went to the emergency room multiple times because I thought I was having a heart attack. I know I'm not alone. A lot of people visit the emergency room who have strong anxiety disorders, especially panic disorder. Yep, that was me. I went multiple times, especially in college. Every time I checked out fine, right? They said I was fine. They said I had panic disorder. And yeah, I know I did. So why did I end up at the hospital? Because I was trying to make sense of my symptoms. I used to carry fruit around with me, typically a banana or an orange, because I would get lightheaded and clammy. And I thought, you know what? This must be hypoglycemia. I've got to have low blood sugar right now because those are the symptoms and nothing else makes sense. Why on earth would I just start feeling this way just sitting in class? It makes no sense. It has to be hypoglycemia, so I carry a piece of fruit around. And that's what I would eat to try to make me feel better. Of course, it had nothing to do with that. It was anxiety. I had chronic headaches, tension headaches, and they got really bad for a pretty substantial period of time. I'm thinking a couple of years at least, where I woke up every day with really bad headaches. And I would also have brain fog. And brain fog was really scary to me. For those of you that have experienced it, it is not a fun feeling. But I was convinced that these were blood pressure spikes or possibly even a stroke that were causing it, because of course I read it on the internet. And no, it's anxiety. So if you have a diagnosed anxiety disorder, stop trying to make sense of your symptoms. Just let it be anxiety. You can't imagine how much that helps to just say, yeah, it's anxiety. Because what happens is you start trying to figure out, you start trying to explain these symptoms, and it just blows up into something else, and your anxiety just grows and grows and grows. It's just anxiety. Just let it be anxiety. Stop searching for answers. You have your answer. So, when you see one, change the way you see yourself. You're not weak. For you to start winning with anxiety, you have to realize you're courageous, you're strong, and you're brave. And it's important to tell yourself that until you believe it, because it's true. You are, or else you wouldn't be here right now. You're fighting a terrifying disorder. Number 2, we talked about not chasing symptoms. Don't worry about it, man. Don't try to figure it out. It's anxiety. But trying to figure it out just leads down a rabbit hole that makes you anxious all the time, and it makes you focus on your symptoms constantly because you're searching so hard for answers. You are analyzing your symptoms. Once you let it go and just say it's anxiety and you truly believe it, it takes time to truly believe it. Once you start truly believing it, then your anxiety starts dissipating, and those panic attacks lessen and lessen and lessen. And you may get them, but they're not the full-blown freakouts that you're used to. They're small. You float through them. That's what I call it. I call it floating through them. You float through them, and then you go on about your day, and you have a good day instead of letting it wreck you. Same with general anxiety disorder. Instead of being up here, red alert at 9 or 10 when you see yourself as powerful and strong, when you see these symptoms that you're having during the day as just regular symptoms of anxiety, your general anxiety starts to go down. Same with social anxiety. When you're in a social situation and you're pouring down with sweat and you get really hot, if you know that you're strong, powerful, and courageous, and you know that these are just regular symptoms of anxiety, all of a sudden they start coming down. You may still get them, but they're not going to run you out of the party. They're not going to cause you to have a panic attack at the party. You're going to stay and you're going to enjoy yourself. So to summarize, change the way you feel about yourself. Realize how strong and courageous you are. Stop chasing your symptoms. Guys, I appreciate you watching this video. Like and subscribe. Actually, I don't even care if you like. Just subscribe. Right now, I'm looking to grow this channel so we can have a real community, so we can have dialogue in the comments section. And my goal is to get this to grow as quickly as possible so I can start hosting live chats where I can really reach out to people and help them through my own experiences fighting these awful disorders. Have a great day. Be kind to each other. Bye.